All right. So, this is my pet story. So I thought this was an appropriate angle for the day of the Iowa caucuses. This is from Jacobin. Nikki Haley helped Boeing hide its political spending.
Oh, bird brain.
That bird brain. While serving on the board of Boeing in 2020, GOP presidential candidate and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley helped kill an initiative designed to force the company to more comprehensively disclose its spending to influence politicians and safety regulators, government filings show. The Boeing board's opposition to the shareholder measure came the same year that the company was lobbying the Federal Aviation Administration on certification or approving planes to fly, and the agency lifted its grounding order of the company's 737 fleet, which had been in effect since two of the airliners had crashed in 2018 and 2019, killing 346 people. Haley was a member of Boeing's board when it unanimously opposed shareholders' transparency proposal, which proponents said was designed to uncover whether Boeing had bought itself regulatory relief from federal safety officials. Jesus. Okay, so let me explain for anyone who doesn't understand what's going on here. So why would the shareholders want that transparency? Because that's an undisclosed risk. If the company is essentially bribing regulators to let unsafe planes in the air, that's a risk to the shareholders, as anyone who's holding Boeing stock right now knows. That's why Disney came out about a month ago and disclosed that its political positions were a risk to its brand. If you know things like that and you don't disclose it, you can actually be sued by the shareholders. Quote, in the wake of the two 737 MAX jet crashes, questions have been raised whether Boeing's lobbying led to relaxed Federal Aviation Administration oversight. Shareholders wrote an urging passage of their proposal, noting that the company spent a staggering $153 million on federal lobbying from 2010 to 2018.
Wouldn't it be cheaper just to screw in the bolts?
Well, no, not with that plane redesign where they moved the engines and made a plane that was not airworthy. Haley and her fellow, not without computer assistance, Haley and her fellow board members urged a no vote, insisting in Boeing's proxy statement prior to the shareholder meeting that the company has instituted full transparency into and extensive oversight of any political expenditures. Oh, well, I'm sure that was very reassuring. Haley and her fellow board members' opposition came despite a report from Glass Lewis and Company, one of the world's largest institutional investment advisors on shareholder resolutions, urging its passage. The report noted that Boeing had a, quote, significant gap in its disclosure of indirect lobbying expenditure, and that more disclosure would better allow shareholders to assess the company's exposure to risks associated with its political activity. In other words, we need to know if you're buying off politicians to send unsafe planes in the air. Haley joined the company's board of directors after two fatal 737 MAX crashes in Indonesia and Ethiopia. Amid allegations of fraud and a cover-up of safety problems following the disasters, resulting in a $243 million fine and $3 billion in compensation to airlines and victims' families, Haley served on the board's audit committee, according to Securities and Exchange Commission records. The transparency proposal that Haley helped nix was part of a broader and still ongoing battle waged by Boeing shareholders for additional oversight of the tens of millions of dollars the company records in political spending. That spending has come under scrutiny after a Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane suffered a mid-flight blowout last week, leaving a gaping hole in the plane's frame before an emergency landing. On Wednesday, The Lever reported on just how much disclosed money Boeing had spent to court lawmakers and win safety exemptions in Washington, D.C., more than $10.6 million in the first 3 quarters of 2023 alone. Its suppliers, too, have doled out significant cash to lawmakers and lobbyists, including Spirit Aerosystems, a Boeing subcontractor that manufactured the door plug that fell off the Boeing 737 MAX 9. On Monday, the lever exposed allegations from employees at Spirit who said in federal court documents that the manufacturer had told workers to misreport excessive defects and fired employees who spoke up.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, you can't make this shit up.
This is the company where they keep showing the video. The guy go, when I say gay, you say gay. Have you seen that?
I think I have seen that. I didn't realize that was Boeing. I thought that was Virgin Atlantic. That's not Virgin Atlantic.
Oh, maybe it is.
It might be Boeing. I'm not sure. I definitely saw a clip of that. Long before Haley's presidential. So this is how it works, folks. Haley did Boeing favors. So then when she got out of office, she gets that sweet board job where she protects the real investors, the big investors, not the lowly shareholders. Long before Haley's presidential ambitions, she was doing favors for Boeing as a state lawmaker and later as governor in South Carolina. In 2015, Haley helped Boeing bust a union drive at a plant in South Carolina where the company builds its 787 Dreamliner jet. See, the moral of the story is always higher union. It was Haley, too, who helped secure the Dreamliner's production in South Carolina to begin with, which the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers, a labor union representing Boeing workers, had opposed because the South Carolina plant was non-union. And look at this, breaking just as we went to air, literally breaking. Boeing 737 forced to turn back in Japan after crack found in cockpit window. The All Nippon Airways
pilot license.
He was snorting up there with the co-pilot. The All Nippon Airways passenger plane landed safely with cabin pressure remaining normal throughout the flight. So that was literally, we were working on this story, and that story broke.
Did anybody see my crack? I left it right by the window.
Yeah. Although Hunter Biden was on the plane, they cannot deduce whose crack it was. It's pretty much every few days now there's a defect in a Boeing plane. And I mentioned the other day, there's an engineer, Ed Pearson, I think his name is. And I've been reading what he's been writing on this for years. He's been saying for years, this is what's going on in the factories.
Oh my God.
And it is inevitably going to end up killing people.
Why do they use the same materials as the Titanic submarine tour?
You have anything to add, Keaton?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, I mean, not only does dealing like that get you in good with the donor class, but, you know, I mean, Russell, you used to make this point all the time. Like, I mean, I don't think you or I have watched like the Sunday morning, you know, news roundtable shows in years. But I remember back when I did used to watch them, there would be ads for Boeing on Meet the Press and Face the Nation. And you always said, these are just bribes out in the open. Boeing is not a consumer product. It's not like Coca-Cola. Like the average person watching at home on their couch is not in the market for a 737, right? I mean, Boeing pays for that airtime so that they get favorable coverage. And then the candidates who are in their favor get favorable coverage by extension. And that's part of how, you know, Haley has gotten to skate in this race, despite, you know, making a lot of pretty costly mistakes at the current moment. According to where we are right now, she's running second in Iowa. But Donald Trump has been declared the winner already.
He has. That's breaking news. Yep. Breaking news. I can't believe he won. Really?
But she's really
Donald Trump won.
I like a muscular foreign policy. That's why. Maybe like a soft policy.
No,
I like a hard body.
Honestly, when I read this story, what I said was, okay, when you look at the candidates that the establishment is good with, yeah, it's no wonder people turn to Donald Trump. Donald Trump looks great next to Nikki Haley.
I used to really dislike him, like before he was ever. I always thought he didn't have a sense of humor about himself, so that's why I disliked about him. Mm-hmm. And it feels crazy to say, but he's, I guess, has built character because now he's making me laugh when he's talking about these people. It's crazy.
I mean, look, I always say a big part of the key to his appeal is he is Rodney Dangerfield in a Snobs versus Slobs movie. And Americans love that story.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's our two-party
the
system.
capital. We love our great capital, but you know it's a fucking shithole, right?
Yeah.
We got to do something about this. Come on.
Yeah, everybody wants that. Everybody has that. I mean, it's like I said, I don't believe he's going to punish anybody the way they're afraid of. I just don't see that happening. I think I don't know. I'm starting to think with you. It makes more sense to me that they would do anything but allow him back in. I really think that's a very big possibility now that we got these Houthi problems.
It's too much of a threat to their power. I forget who was it. Hannah Arendt who said, "Never imagine they'll let you vote their power away." Donald Trump represents to them, even though his policies economically were typical Republican policies.
It's 95% ain't enough for the investors.
That's it.
They want 100% rigged game of returns. They've already planned ahead and bet futures on it.
Yep. Having a guy who cannot be relied upon to not say things like, "What do you think? We don't have killers? We have a lot of killers here." They can't have a guy like that running around representing them.
Remember that Jamal Khashoggi, and they were like, he was, "What are we gonna do? What the hell are we gonna do about it?" Which is true, nothing.
We're there for the oil. They can't have a guy who's going to say things like that.
Even after Jamal Khashoggi, what did Trump say about that? He's like, It was a bad deal. That was a rough deal. It never should have happened that way. Chop the guy's head off.
Yeah. They shot him.
That was like the Al Pacino film Scarface, only real.
Never should have happened.
I told you some driver I had one time to hear, because I always have to talk to like live drivers, and they're all from countries we helped.
Yeah.
And, he was telling me that Jamal, he pronounced a Koshki like that, but he said that guy worked with intelligence service, like Turkish probably. And I think Adnan Khashoggi, the famous arms dealer, that's his dad, is it not?
Is it?
That's what I thought.
Is it?
I could be wrong about that part, but I don't know if he was a spy, but the guy goes, he wasn't a good guy. There's more to that Jamal Khashoggi thing than you heard.
All right. So, Misha, you're the voice of reason around here. Do we do Elon as a junkie or save it?
Do it.
Do it? All right. We've been holding that story for a while. So,
yeah.
All right. Super chats, just one more segment, and then everyone can go get a double-double.
Okay. Russ was that your first double-double?
I mean, not in my life.
Not in your life. Okay.
No,
but in a long
that was
time.
why I wanted it so
in a long time. Okay.
Probably since like 2009, I think was the last time I was in California.
Wow. SS, holidays equal 1 day off from slavery. Thank you. Yes. Thank you, SS. Yesa Miller, it is so good to see you all together tonight. Sparky, MLK Sr. was locally famous for going to an early 1930s Protestant convention in Dresden, Germany, home of Protestant founder Martin Luther. He got to see Dresden before it was firebombed to oblivion. And back to Russ.
Hey, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there for more AM Joy and the rest of MSNBC. And click on any of the videos right here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. And you can get more videos from MSNBC for free every day with our newsletter. Just visit